There's nothing more jarring for a person than to hear the words, "It's terminal." Perhaps you've heard those words about a family member or a friend or a coworker. Maybe you were the recipient of hearing those words, "It's terminal." With just a few words, everything changes. Plans change. The future changes. The present is now dramatically changed. This could be the last Christmas or the last birthday or the last anniversary. Hi, I'm Alex Ennis with Simplify Strategies, and this is part 5 of our devotional series, March to the Cross. As you try and discover your path forward, it is essential to know God's view of you. Your view of how God views you determines your relationship or non-relationship with Him. Lepers, those with leprosy, encountered tremendous shame with having their disease. Let's read the passage and I will explain how what they went through may have been worse than the disease. We find it in Mark chapter 1, verses 40 to 45. A man with leprosy came and knelt in front of Jesus, begging to be healed. "If you are willing, you can heal me and make me clean," he said. Moved with compassion, Jesus reached out and touched him. "I am willing," he said. "Be healed." Instantly, the leprosy disappeared and the man was healed. Then Jesus sent him on his way with a stern warning. "Don't tell anyone about this. Instead, go to the priest and let him examine you. Take along the offering required in the law of Moses and for those who have been healed of leprosy. This will be a public testimony that you have been cleansed." But the man went and spread the word, proclaiming to everyone what had happened. As a result, large crowds soon surrounded Jesus, and he couldn't publicly enter a town anywhere. He had to stay out in the secluded places. But people from everywhere kept coming to him. Leprosy was a terminal disease. If it was discovered that you had leprosy, then you had to leave your friends, vocation, your family to go live in a leper colony. You would be surrounded by people in varying stages of leprosy, some with just some flaking of the skin, but that's just the early onset of leprosy. Others would have lost their fingers, their toes, and even their noses. They would eventually fall off. To be sent to a leper colony was the declaration of, "It's terminal." Possibly most traumatic would be seeing those in future stages of what you would become. Shriveled, mutilated, and distorted bodies. They no longer looked like human beings, nor eventually would you. Everywhere you went, you would have to yell, "Unclean, unclean," so that crowds would steer clear of you. You were cut off physically from people as well as socially. Your only group are the others in the leper colony. Here's where it becomes more dire, as if it wasn't already. It was common practice to teach that if someone had a disease, especially life-threatening, then this meant that you or someone in your family had sinned against God in an awful way. Can you imagine not only knowing that you are removed from society, but if the sole reason was because of a great sin that you or a family member committed? It's why in John 9, the disciples asked Jesus, "Who sinned, this man or his parents, that he has been born blind?" It was a common belief, even among the disciples, that you got what you deserved. If you got a terminal disease, you or someone close to you brought it on. This is why it is so striking that the man kneels in front of Jesus and begins begging to be healed. He is to avoid people. You have to admire the bravery of this man. There are a couple of reasons why. First, he is to avoid people. He is to yell wherever he goes so that people avoid him as well. He brazenly goes up to Jesus and kneels in front of him. What a shocking scene this must have been. Secondly, he was taught, and it would have been reinforced by others, that God is judging him or a family member for his great sin. If you were taught long enough that God must be angry at you or despise you or loathe you, then you would become very bitter towards God. He's not bitter. He comes begging in front of Jesus. What incredible bravery, as he knows that the risk of Jesus' reply could be, "You got leprosy because of your sin." What a risk to go to Jesus and ask him to make him clean again. In the next section of this part about leprosy, we're going to go into some behind the scene things that even a lot of Christians have never heard about. But for today, let's just focus in on Jesus' response. Here's Jesus' dramatic response. Number one, he touched him. Jesus has the ability to speak leprosy out of the man. There are people we will meet in this study of 25 unique people and things that Jesus met where Jesus just spoke it. There are even people who tell him, "You don't even have to be present, just make it happen." Jesus does. Jesus did something that people hadn't done for that man in months and possibly years. He meaningfully touched him. Here's your path forward key question. What is it that you believe about God in your current situation? Maybe you see God as a vengeful God or a judgmental God or even one who is numb to your need. What is it that you believe about God in your current situation? Your path forward takeaway is this. You will have trouble discovering your path forward if the only person you think of helping is yourself. Jesus meaningfully touched a man that was disgusting to others. He had a terminal illness caused by some secret sin. Jesus' love for humanity came through so loud and clear that a leper pushed through religion to seek out the face of grace, Jesus. Who can you go and give a meaningful phone call to today? What about a meaningful text? Hey, let us know in the comments section below how that went so that we can rejoice with you. You may be just the person to bring healing to others, helping them find their path forward, as well as discovering the next step on your path. Hey, up next is the fascinating reason why Jesus asked this man to go show himself to the priest. Many Christians that I've met have never understood its meaning. You won't view this story the same way again. We will see you next time as we discover the incredible way that Jesus uses this story. Thanks and have a great day.